Flood Relief is there, providing hope where it's needed most. Your tax-deductible donation can help deliver food, shelter, and the support needed to rebuild lives. These families have lost everything, but with your help, they can heal. Go to PikeCountyFloodRelief.org right now to make your donation. Every dollar helps. Every act of kindness counts. Together, we can heal the heart of these communities. Pike County Flood Relief. In their darkest hour, your light can make all the difference.
God deliver us.
From the newsroom of Regional Radio and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this expanded morning newscast. Good morning, and thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Ben Hubbard. The news is brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, as well as Connexus, offering fiber internet in Clinton. Click the icon on DeWittDailyNews.com to find out more. And as always, Morning Show News streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Local leaders are reacting to Tuesday's announcement that Meta, formerly Facebook, will be purchasing power from Constellation and the Clinton Power Station. The announcement also comes with news that the power plant will remain open for 20 more years. The announcement greatly impacts Clinton schools, and Superintendent Drew Goebel says this is great news for the school district, but also the community.
I was very excited about it. Actually, we employ an energy broker that kind of helps keep track of energy. The school district spends a lot of money on just energy, not to mention that the power Constellation helps, with taxes. Their major source of revenue for the school. So he reached out to me as early as 7 o'clock in the morning and said, "Hey, have you seen this?" And so him and we were kind of communicating very, very early on. I was aware of it. I was, extremely excited. This is great news for DeWitt County. It's great news for the school district. And like you had mentioned, Seth, anytime that a major technology player such as Meta, Facebook, is partnering with your community with the power plant, that's good news for everybody.
While the exact dollar figures for Clinton schools are not known at this time, Goebel indicates it will eventually be a great financial benefit for the schools. He explains there is an existing agreement for the EAV of the plant that will expire in a few years.
Absolutely not. No,
The agreement with Meta Platform was a complete surprise. While knowing that Constellation has partnered with Meta Platforms, that is a huge benefit to everybody. How that will benefit in terms of taxes, the county and the school district, we don't know, because we are still under that previous agreement that has not expired. And until we have a new assessed value, we won't know the financial impact that this new development is going to have.
Goebel credits Constellation and the Clinton power plant for its long-running support of the community and the huge impacts it has across DeWitt County, and that will continue for many years to come.
Oh, absolutely. Without the power plant, Clinton school district, just the town of Clinton would not be. It would be drastically. This is an understatement. It'd be drastically different. We are very fortunate to have a nuclear power plant in our backyard. It is. I know several years ago there was discussions that it might close, and then that was a huge thing, because in the school district without it, literally could not function. Now the state did change its funding formula several years ago from general state aid to evidence-based funding. So if something catastrophic like that would happen, it is a little bit different. And the way that the state funds school districts did adjust to account for things, because not everybody has something like a power plant. Now other towns have different sources of revenue, but if the power plant would close, that would be devastating. So we are very appreciative that it does exist. It benefits our kids. I look around our school district at what we have, and it's largely can be contributed to the fact that we have. It's a no-brainer. We have a nuclear power plant, and that helps fund everything.
Reports from Tuesday indicate that beginning in June of 2027, Meta will buy roughly 1.1 gigawatts of energy from Constellation's Clinton Clean Energy Center, which is the entire output from the site's one nuclear reactor. The company said the long-term agreement will support the continuing operation of the plant as well as its relicensing. The deal will also expand Clinton's output by 30 megawatts. The plant will not power Meta's data centers directly. Instead, it will continue to provide power to the regional grid while contributing to the tech giant's goal of 100% clean electricity. Coming up shortly on this expanded newscast, the cool stretch opens June weather. Farming can be a tough industry to get into if you don't already have the land, but there's a new program from the University of Illinois Extension that can help. Reagan Tibbs, commercial ag educator for the Extension servicing Logan, Menard, and Sangamon counties, explains that the Farm Family Business Program is intended to give new and young farmers tips to get their foot into the agriculture industry. Registration closes on Friday, June 6th, just before the program begins on the 10th.
Yeah, the Farm Business Foundations program, that's something that I've held really personal to me, as somebody who's going to, inherit our family farms and working on our family farm forever, just trying to have those resources there for, like you said, people who might be young and taking over their family farm, or someone who's starting a new farming operation altogether. Just having those resources and those educational opportunities for them to learn those important basics. We're going to move it Friday, June the 6th. Yeah, so it's going to be 3 different sessions across June. So the first one's going to be on June 10th, and that's going to be at our Sangamon County Extension office in Springfield. That session is going to talk about kind of what is farm business management, why is it important, how to create a business plan. The second session is going to be the week after that on June 17th at the Farm Credit office in Sherman. Really excited for that partnership with them. They're going to share some things about kind of loans. What's that process like? What are some frequently asked questions and things that people need to know about that? We'll also talk about some marketing strategies and things to consider on that front. And then the last session will be on June 24th at the Sangamon County Farm Bureau office in Springfield. And that's going to focus on succession planning. So what are those conversations you need to have? What are the things you need to have in order to have a successful succession plan?
Anyone can register and take part in the Farm Family Business Program, even if you do not reside within Logan, Menard, or Sangamon counties. Tibbs notes that you also do not have to register for all 3 of these sessions offered.
Absolutely not. No, anybody is more than welcome to come attend any program, not just for me or anywhere in Extension. We have a lot of in-person programs. We also have a lot of online programs and asynchronous programs as well. So absolutely not. You do not have to be part of Logan, Menard, or Sangamon counties to attend. Anybody from any part of the state can come down and participate. Absolutely. That's right. Yeah, they can, registrants can, pick just 1 session or 2 sessions or come to all 3. It doesn't matter because, I recognize that some people may only want to hear about the succession planning topic, or they may or really only be interested in one of those sessions. We don't want to do that. We want to make sure that everybody can come and access whichever ones they want. So absolutely, they can register for as many as they'd like.
Tibbs has collaborated with speakers who will be coming to the sessions to build the curriculum from the ground up for the new program. He is trying to tailor the program to the real needs that he has heard from local producers.
Yeah, so it's kind of a mix of both. This is a new program that we have in Extension, so not a lot of curriculum to go off of, but working with our presenters, like I said, we have some amazing partners with Farm Credit in Sherman there. Also, the Menard and Sangamon County Farm Bureaus have been massive helps in this as well, offering their spaces and their resources. So, a lot of the program is kind of getting put together by myself, especially that first session where we're talking about kind of what is farm business management, what are some things people need to consider with that, relying on my experience with my degrees and also the resources I've used across the years to help people answer those types of questions. And so a lot of that is kind of getting built and listening to what kind of people are wanting. These sessions were built not just off of a women an idea that I got, but out of conversations I had with producers across the area here and things that they would find interesting. Yeah, it's hard to believe I've been here over a year and a half now.
Wow.
It seems like it's gone gone by really quickly, but having those conversations with producers about the topics they want to hear about, the things they want to learn about, what resources can we offer through extension, or do we have in kind of our network of other extensions across the Midwest and across the country that we can then bring forward and offer those producers? Because Illinois Extension, we have a lot of great resources, a lot of great programs, but we definitely want to key in other states and other resources that are just as excellent and just as resourceful for our producers.
If you are a new producer looking to get into agriculture, or you're taking over the family farm, register for the Farm Family Business Program by June 6th at extension.illinois.edu/LMS. I'm Ben Hubbard. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. Let's take a quick 60-second break with a word from our sponsors.
Baum Chevrolet Buick offers full transportation options while giving you peace of mind. This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick here in Clinton. This is what we do every day. We listen to you, give you options for routine maintenance, major mechanical problems, or collision repairs with a staff that's knowledgeable to find the best option for you. Baum Chevrolet Buick, your full-service dealer. See us at baumchevybuick.com right from the start.
Experience the power of better connection with Connexus Fiber Internet. Connexus delivers ultra-fast, reliable speeds to keep you connected at the speed of life. Whether you're working from home, streaming your favorite shows, or gaming with your friends, Connexus has you covered. Say goodbye to buffering and dropped calls and say hello to fiber fast internet. Ready to upgrade your connection? Sign up today by clicking the Connexus icon at DeWittDailyNews.com. Nothing connects us like Connexus.
You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. I'm Ben Hubbard with this expanded morning newscast. As a brief warm-up and midweek rains pass through Illinois, more moderate temperatures are expected coming up. Ed Shimon at the National Weather Service in Lincoln indicates there were some initial severe weather concerns with some of these rains, but as we finish out the week, temperatures are going to be very seasonable.
The cold frontal passage, and that looks to come in probably midweek around Wednesday or so. So we've got some severe weather outlooks already creeping into some of the modeling systems. So we're trying to figure out the timing of that front and if it's going to be impactful, during the day on Wednesday. It looks like the 4th and 5th of June are probably the biggest threat zones there. So we'll have to be mindful of that. They're already, looking at a tornado threat in the plains when that front's moving through there on Tuesday. So we'll have to see if that translates into Illinois with the same type of wind shear patterns there. But beyond that, then we cool down again, not too far below normal. By Wednesday, 81. Thursday's below normal at 77. So, and the 6 to 10 day outlook does show just slightly cooler than normal in the western half of Illinois. We're still going to be reacting to that cold frontal passage for a little bit in early June, but then some warmer temperatures should eventually settle in probably towards the middle of the month. But all the way through the 12th, we're kind of near normal or slightly below normal in June. So, that heat we're going to get next week is probably going to be as warm as we're going to get until maybe, this next pattern breaks as we head into the last part of June.
Wow. Shimon notes that the June outlook shows an above normal trend for temperatures and an equal chance of above or below normal precipitation.
Yeah. The outlook for the whole month is showing above normal for temperatures and equal chances for precip. So, we probably will have ebb and flow in the amount of rain we get, but we're probably going to see a little bit warmer than normal for the last half of the month so we can counterbalance that cooler start. And where we end up usually in June here, let me take a quick peek. Yeah, June starts out with 80 for a normal high and ends the month about 86 for a normal high. So we don't change a lot there, but in the 80s, very comfortable, pretty hot on some days, but low temperatures start at 58 and then end up at 64. So we rise 6 degrees throughout the month in terms of our normals there through the June timeframe.
According to Shimon, the average temperature increase in June is a mix of the days getting warmer, but the nights not getting as cool. Weather officials are watching the expected heat out west that could impact the Midwest.
Most of the time, that's the days getting hotter in the summertime, especially. But even that, it's a combination. I shouldn't say just the highs, but yeah, those lows when we don't get out of the 70s some nights, that really makes a big difference because we usually cool off pretty quickly at night. And if there's some abnormally warm lows. That'll tip the balance pretty quickly as well. So
Sure.
the last half of the month, I would expect some 90s here late June. I'm seeing an indication out west of really high heat building, and that's going to translate east in the last half of the month. I'm pretty sure, just looking at the jet stream patterns here.
Okay.
So, we could be seeing some maybe up near 100 already before the end of June, and that's going to be that's going to hurt a little bit. June normally has a 4.16 rainfall amounts, and we're equal chances in the outlook. And with the cooler start to the month, we may be a little below normal by the time we get to the middle of the month. But I think we're going to probably see some storm systems rolling through as we head into that heat, that transition zone here. So
Yeah.
Look for some impactful storms when you transition between two air masses. Usually that brings with it some stormy weather.
While not completely out of the woods for severe weather, Shimon notes that severe weather tends to be more hit and miss in Illinois in June.
Yeah, when we're colder than normal in the beginning, I'm not looking for real intense severe weather. The strong severe weather comes when the dew points are creeping into the 60s or low 70s. That's when the atmosphere is primed to produce storms that are, able to produce that severe weather threat in the summertime. And I'm not seeing that until, after at least, the middle of June here at this point. Severe weather threat should probably be really quite diminished in the first part of the month after this first cold front goes through anyway, and the third, fourth, fifth of the month there.
Okay. The tropical storm season begins in June. There have already been some tropical storms starting to form this month. Several ag items got attention during the recently completed spring session of the Illinois General Assembly. Illinois Farm Bureau Director of State Legislation, Chris Davis, with a rundown.
We helped pass legislation to provide continuing education for certified pesticide applicators. We prevented the elimination of the biodiesel sales tax exemption. As we talked about, there were significant budget pressures and revenues sources considered. And we spent a significant amount of time in the final 2 weeks of session lobbying to preserve the biodiesel sales tax exemption. We prevented additional pesticide regulations and prohibitions. And really, when you do step back and look at the overall picture of the session, we really have to consider this a successful session for Illinois Farm Bureau.
The spring session wrapped up prior to midnight last Saturday. Now for your local obituaries. Jimmy Allen Jimbo Harpster Sr., 77, of Lake Charles, Louisiana, formerly of Bloomington, Illinois, passed away December 4th at his family home. Graveside services with military honors will be 10 a.m. Tuesday, June 10th, 2025 at Weldon Cemetery in Weldon, with Ernie Harvey Jr. officiating. Calvert Funeral Home in Clinton is in charge of arrangements. Memorials may be directed to the disabled American veterans. Don C. Niederer, 92, of Clinton, Illinois, passed peacefully with his wife and family by his side at Carl Broman Medical Center in Normal, Illinois at 4:45 p.m., May 24th. A celebration of life will be held on Saturday, June 14th, starting at 11 a.m. at the United Methodist Church Great Hall, 308 East Main Street in Clinton, with a luncheon to follow at noon. Mary D. Westfall, 71, formerly of Wapella, Illinois, passed away Wednesday, May 28th at 8 p.m., surrounded by her family at the Goldwater Care Center in Clinton. There will be a private funeral mass and burial. Kibler Brady Roostman Memorial Home in Bloomington has been entrusted with arrangements. A public celebration of life will be held at a later date. Memorials may be directed to the American Diabetes Association or the Alzheimer's Association. Online condolences may be and memories of Mary may be shared with her family at KiblerBradyRoostman.com. Teresa Marie Carr, 58, of Clinton, Illinois, passed away peacefully at home on May 24th, surrounded by her loving family. She was born on October 28, 1966, the daughter of Howard Leslie Steele and Donna Ray Shannon. A celebration of Teresa's life will be held from 3 to 7 p.m. Saturday, June 7th at Whitney's Cove in Clinton. Private family interment will be at Memorial Park Cemetery in Clinton at a later date. The family entrusted Calvert Funeral Home in Clinton with cremation rights. Memorials may be directed to the Teresa Carr Memorial Fund. Gerald Jerry E. Comnick, 78, of Clinton, Illinois, passed away at 8:03 a.m. June 1st at his family home in Clinton. Services will be 10 a.m. Monday, June 9th at the Clinton United Methodist Church with Pastor Darrell Howard officiating. Burial will follow at Camp Butler National Cemetery in Springfield with military honors. Visitation will be 4 to 7 p.m. Sunday, June 8th at Calvert Funeral Home in Clinton. Jerry has requested that family and friends attend services in their favorite Hawaiian or tropical attire. Memorials may be directed to the Clinton United Methodist Church or the OSF Foundation. Gayla Jo Presson, 69, of Mattoon, passed away 3:29 a.m. May 29th at Palm Gardens of Mattoon. Arrangements are incomplete at Calvert Funeral Home in Clinton. Get news anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. President Trump says it's a matter of keeping Americans safe here at home. Effective Monday, people from a dozen countries will be barred entry to the U.S., the president bringing back a first-term policy that stirred political and legal challenges and was ultimately upheld by the Supreme Court. Facing a series of state charges, the accused Boulder, Colorado attacker is due in court later today. Israel has recovered the bodies of 2 more of the hostages captured by Hamas during the deadly 2023 raid on Israel. An Israeli and U.S.-backed group temporarily pausing food delivery at 3 of its distribution sites in Gaza. It comes after dozens of Palestinians were reportedly killed in a series of shootings near those sites this week. On Wall Street, the Dow futures up 32 points, NASDAQ futures better by 12. More details at srnnews.com.
With SRN Sports, I'm George Williams. The Stanley Cup Finals begin with a tense overtime game, and it goes to the Oilers with a 4-3 win over the defending Stanley Cup champion Panthers.